gentlemen, I want to welcome you to tonight's live role play, Insurance Objections with Miss Christine L. Out of the PA market here on the East Coast. So super excited to start this first Insurance Objections role play here. Christine actually has been in the industry for how many years?
9 years.
And
Nine.
she has had an amazing career. Actually, if you haven't seen her on YouTube, if you're in the insurance game, which most of you are, I'm sure if you're in this group, if you haven't seen her YouTube channel, her YouTube videos, go ahead because she's giving out a lot of nuggets on how to win in the home, in insurance, and how to write a lot of business. So I remember when I first started selling insurance, I looked on YouTube to see who was actually in this space, and she was one of the many people that I actually found. All right, so glad to have you. Welcome. All right.
Thank
I
you.
think you're
Thank you
good
for
on the volume.
inviting
So,
me.
so
Yeah.
I'm
Can you
super
hear me all
excited.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. So super excited to have you on here on tonight. So yeah, I mean, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Just share your story briefly here. And just give us the backstory.
The short version.
Yeah.
So again, welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me on here. And I welcome everybody to your live, right? I'm excited to just share. Honestly, my husband should be down here because he's the reason why I'm in this business. Okay, just to be
That's right.
clear.
I remember that story.
Yeah, yeah. For those insurance people out here who are thinking about it that aren't really sure, you won't know until you come in, right? I fought him for about 2.5 to 3 years. He's seen the opportunity and I did not. I just thought it was going to be a sales job. And I don't like sales, believe it or not, right? But yeah, he saw the business, he saw the opportunity, he saw how the residuals and all the wonderful things about being an insurance agent could fit our family and how it could fit even myself. And so, long story short, obviously I'm here 9 years in, right? Still kicking myself because it could be 11, 12 years, but 9 years going strong. Really in the beginning, I had to figure out how I fit in the business. And once I figured out how my personality, like the things that I enjoy in life could fit in this opportunity, the sky was like, not even the limit. I've grown every single year. So that's like the long story short. I have an agency. We have about 25, I'm looking at my board, 25 agents right now.
Awesome.
It is awesome. In the last 9 years, I've helped about 10 people earn over 6 figures, which is
nice.
powerful. Of course, I've earned, over the 6 figures multiple times.
Yeah.
My husband definitely he came in first year at 6 figures, right? He kicked the door down. So,
right.
But, it's just amazing. It's an amazing opportunity. I remember in the very beginning, I was searching for help on YouTube as well. And, nobody wanted to share any information unless I signed a contract with them. Yeah. And I just was like, that's not cool.
Right.
I don't want to work for you. I just need some help, Right. And I just knew, because I've always been a giver anyway, that when I knew this business, when I became, that person, if you will, that knows this industry, knows my industry, that I was going to be able to share it. And I thank God for being able to do that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good. Amazing testimony. I remember when you, I watched one of your videos and you had shared that story. So that was cool. But, that's amazing because I think it's a good example of, how, a lot of times, like one of the, the spouse wants to do it, whether it's the husband, but the wife doesn't, they have some negative connotations about it or vice versa. But you have an amazing story because, like your husband got in and you saw what he did, and then you just did it, right? I guess how was it? Was it like twisting your arm, or was it more so just seeing the results and it was like, you know what, I think I can do this too?
Well, no. See, my husband wasn't in the business.
Okay.
He wasn't in the business. He's actually been here 7 years now. He's going on 7 years. I've been here 9. So he was running a landscaping company. Mm-hmm. It was his best friend that kept coming to the house with these pay stubs. And we're talking way back before automatic deposits and things like that, right? And he would come to the house with these checks, like, man, you guys need to do this insurance. And I'd leave the room every time. I would just leave the room. I was not, you know. And so that's, it was a constant, Christine, because I did not have a job. I owned a credit restoration company, and I had started a mobile stylist, so I was going to people's homes doing their hair, and I just didn't want a job. I was like, I don't need any money. I'm great. I was making a good bit of money. I didn't want any overhead. I didn't want a boss. I didn't want anybody telling me what to do when, right?
Right.
And that's what I kind of thought that this was going to be. And I was not interested. I wasn't interested. And that's how that started. So he constantly, his friend coming over, then he would talk to me. Babe, if I could come in right now, I would. And then there were some other things going on that he had to get cleared up before coming into insurance. And I just wasn't interested. And so it was an argument. I swear, I used to say all the time, we divorced like 6 times about some insurance and me not coming into the business.
Yeah. Awesome.
So it was me having a dream, I am a dreamer. For those that know me on YouTube, I talk about it all the time, but I had a dream about helping this little old lady with her life insurance. And she gave me the sweetest hug and this kiss on the cheek. And I felt it in my dream, when I woke up. And those dreams that you feel like it's so real. And I just said, wow, am I supposed to be doing this business?
Yeah.
And that's when I started to study. And then he actually came back maybe a couple of days after that, was like, I'm going to try one more time to talk to this hard-headed female of mine. And I was just smiling from ear to ear. And he's like, why are you smiling? I'm like, well, I already started studying, and then I told him, he was like, oh my God, So that's how I got in. And I didn't take it serious still for the first 2 years. I still worked very part-time. And it wasn't until that second year when I'd seen that 1099 and I had made the 52,000. And that was in 2 years of me working very part-time.
Yeah. And
I had been at Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield for 14 years and made about 56.
Wow.
And that was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I've seen so many people around me with the cars, with the rings, with the money, all of that, it just didn't, it just wasn't real for me.
Right.
But when I saw that 1099 after 2 years, I said, you know what?
You know basic math, right?
I thought I was smarter than that, but that's what did it. That's what did it. Yeah. And then when my sister had passed on the day before I was leaving for the manager's retreat, because I decided I needed to be a manager, and how, our company really took care of all of the arrangements, that was like, oh, this really is important to a lot of people.
Yes.
So that really, that did it for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, great story. Love it. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. Most definitely encouraged and inspired. Amazing story. I never forget just listening to that on YouTube, just laughing and being inspired all at the same time.
And I'm crazy.
But yeah, so let's go ahead and dive right in.
Okay.
So I'm basically going to be the I'm the client, and I filled out a form, and I'm a lead, and maybe you called me, I didn't answer the phone. Or, of course, you're just out, you're door knocking. So I'll just be the door knocked lead.
Okay.
So in 3, 2, 1, you're knocking on my door. Who is it? Who is it? How can I help you? Are you there?
Hi, Leon.
Yeah, how you doing? Who are you? How can I help you?
Hey, this is Christine, and I'm here because you requested this information about the final expense benefit. Was this just for yourself or for you and another loved one?
What form is that?
Oh, the final expense benefit you see right here from the Funeral Advantage program that assists the seniors. Yeah. Did you fill this out for you or for you and another loved one?
When did I fill it out? I'm not quite sure if I even remember.
You know what, Leon? I could not even tell you when to fill it out. What happens is normally somebody would be calling you from home office, and if they can't reach you, then one of the field underwriters, which was me today, gets to come out and go over this information. And listen, it only takes about 10 minutes. Where can we sit?
We can go to the kitchen table. That's fine. No big deal. I don't have a lot of time.
Oh, that's
I don't
all
have a whole
right.
lot of time, but
That is
you know
okay.
what?
Listen,
Go
I
and
have
have a seat.
about
No big deal.
30. Listen, Leon, I got 30 people I need to see within the next 2 days. I promise I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I love it because sometimes I get in the homes and people want to feed me and give me coffee, but we're going to be real quick today. So how are you feeling? This is a really nice house. I like this.
Oh, thank you. Just, I'm cool. Just another day. Just,
Okay.
got a busy schedule and, so just
I completely
let me
understand.
see what you got going on for me.
Sure, sure. And I understand that. So again, I do need to know, is this just for you or is it for you and another loved one?
I was thinking for me and my wife. Yeah.
I knew there was a woman in here because I saw this artwork right here. I didn't want to judge, but I knew there had to be a woman here. So where's your wife? Is she home?
She's actually working.
Okay. All right. So typically whenever individuals fill this out and there's a spouse, we both need, to sit together to go over this information. Are you able to make any
Mhm.
financial decisions without your wife?
Yeah, that's not a big deal. I mean, yeah, I just want to make sure that you know, we're on one accord. But yeah, that's not a problem.
It's not a problem. Okay. And
It
so
just
just
depends
to
on what you're
just
asking me. Are you asking me to buy something today?
possibly there could be something that you can qualify for day one. And so I was going to say I just need to make sure for any type of financial decisions, does your wife need to be here?
No, not really. I'll just no, I'm a pretty good judgment of, making pretty good decisions and,
Okay.
I just like to see
Okay.
what we got going on and, no, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay, because this is going to definitely require a yes or no answer by the end of this call, because again, we have about 30 people, this house call. And we just
Okay.
want to make sure that when we're spending the time, because like you're busy, trust me, we are understaffed. So if you know somebody that needs a job whenever I'm done with you today, let me know. Okay. Because we're definitely
All
hiring.
right. Hmm.
So just to be clear, we're not going to say we need to talk to our wife at the end of this 5 minutes,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Right.
Got you.
Okay, cool. All right. So, real quick, what I like to do for you is ask a couple questions that I'm able to get you qualified for the best program at the best price. Okay. And
All
so,
right.
this is going to help us to alleviate all the extra conversation that I can talk about insurance all day. And you already told me you only have a few minutes. So, what I need to know is because you didn't fill out how young you were. So, how young are you, Leon?
I'll be 39 tomorrow.
39.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you're 38 right now. And
Yes.
tomorrow's going to be April 6th. All right. And then you did say that this was just for you and maybe for your wife. So what's your wife's name?
Tommy.
Okay, Tommie.
Yes. So
All
T-O-M,
right.
T-O-M-I.
Tomi.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. And how young is Miss Tommy?
38.
Okay, so you're both 38.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what's her date of birth?
6282.
Awesome. Now, a couple medical questions I need to ask real quick. Either one of you use any form of tobacco in the last 12 months?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. And then I'm looking at the last 2 years, Leon. I need to know when you can answer this for both yourself and your wife right now. I need to know if
Okay.
you're taking any medication or diagnosed for any of the following: anything for any heart attack, heart surgery, congestive heart failure.
No. Not at all.
Okay. Liver disease, kidney disease,
Nope.
Alzheimer's, dementia,
Nope.
any Lou Gehrig's
Mm-mm.
disease,
No.
any organic brain syndrome.
No. Not at
All
all.
right. Do you have any strokes or having to take any blood thinners for any circulation within the last 2 years?
No.
Okay, awesome.
Not at all.
And then if we have anything for cancer,
Nope.
and not even taking medication for anything from the past of two
No.
years.
No meds at all.
Okay. And then I did say COPD, emphysema. And do we have all your toes? It looks like you have all your
Yes.
toes down there. Does your wife have all her
Yeah.
toes?
Yeah.
Okay. You sure? No complications
Yes.
with diabetes?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. Well, this is awesome. I definitely can get you guys covered here. Now, let me ask you, have you guys talked about how you want it to be handled? Are we looking at cremation or burial?
Um, I'm not quite into the cremation side. It would be just a regular burial.
Burial for you? And
Yeah.
what about for your wife?
Same thing. A regular burial would be more
Okay.
like it for us. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, these next couple questions I'm asking you pretty much because I customize the benefits for what you need. So we're not in here just trying to sell you a policy with what you don't need, but what you do
Okay.
need. Okay. And so do
I
you have
appreciate that.
any, do either one of you have any other life insurance that I'm going to be working with? Do you have anything set up?
Oh, like any other policies in place?
Yes, sir.
No. No, nothing as of yet. No.
Okay. So now I see why you guys filled out that form. I'm glad I was able to
Yeah, but
catch up with you.
it's just gonna, take a lot out of my, out of my pocket. I mean, I'm on a fixed income, and I'm just not,
Yeah.
I'm quite sure if we're gonna be able even to afford this. I mean,
I
is
completely
that
understand. I completely understand. I get that all the time. And, our benefits are discounted for seniors. And most of the
okay?
individuals that receive our cards are on Social Security or disability. So don't worry. That's why we're going to customize it to make sure it's something that you can handle. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. All right.
Yep. So we both are 38 years young, and no medical issues. We want burial, no other life insurance, neither one of you guys. Now, let me ask you real quick while I'm getting these numbers together for you. Do you know anything about life insurance? Do you know anything about term or whole life, how it works?
Um, yeah, I guess, I mean, a little bit of research that I've done, just the basic term policy. I guess it's like for so many years, you outlive it, then that's it, right? And then, I guess on the basic term, from what I understand, it's just like a regular policy, and then, most people outlive it, and then that's it. And then I guess on the whole life, I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, but I mean, it's just coverage as far as I know, right?
Well, they're both coverage, absolutely right. They're both for different times of a person's life, to be honest. So, term, the easiest way I can explain term for you is like your car insurance.
Okay.
Every 6 months, you pay a premium, right? Sometimes you pay for the
Yeah.
whole 6 months, sometimes you pay monthly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happens after that 6 months with your car insurance?
I have to renew it
Right. And
basically
what are
every
they
six
looking at?
months.
Whenever
Uh,
they renew, what are they going to be checking?
yeah, they're going to check, make sure I haven't had any tickets or any accidents or, anything
Mhm.
like that for the most part, right?
Exactly. And if you had any accidents or anything like that, they're going to raise that price on you, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay. So that is
Yeah.
the same thing with your term policy. So with the term
Oh,
policy, every year to every 5 years, unless you receive like a level term for 10 or 20 years. But the point is at the end of that term, you no longer have coverage, and all the money that you paid into the company, they get to keep. So I like to say it goes into that big black hole that you never see again, right?
wow.
Now, you will be able to requalify for insurance as long as you're healthy,
Okay.
right? And your rate is going to be based on your new age and, of course, your new health condition. So, what does that
Okay.
mean as far as that nice rate that you started off with?
Well, yeah, I think sounds like it would increase
It's
basically,
going to go
right?
up. It's going to
Yeah.
go up. And so, honestly, again, with the terms, only about 10% of those term policies actually pay out. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Actually, not even 10. It's like 3% nowadays. Because what happens is individuals are either outliving them. So they get too old. And of course, like you're on a fixed income. And so they no longer can afford the monthly premium. So they have to cancel.
Okay.
Or, you know, they get canceled because they get sick. And so the term policy drops them, right?
All
Which
right.
unfortunately that happens. So that's your term. Not saying that
Okay.
it's a bad policy because it's not. It's a very good policy for a lot of
Okay.
good reasons, just not for whenever you're a senior or somebody that's looking to take care of their final expenses.
All
Okay.
right.
So not to say
Okay.
that it's a bad policy. Now, whole life is just that. It's based on your age and your health when you start, and the rates
Yeah.
will never ever change unless you stop making your payments. All right, it's locked in. So that means whatever benefit you select and whatever premium you pick, it's going to stay the same unless you call in and say, you know what, Miss Chris, I have an extra $20 I want to add to my benefit. And
Yeah.
I'll say, you know what, Leon, let's see what's going on with your health. Has anything changed? You're still doing good? Okay, great. And then I'm gonna let you know how much that $20 is going to be able to add on your cash benefit. Okay.
All right.
Now I have your numbers here. The last thing that I want to go over with you is that you both qualify for day one coverage. Do you know what day one coverage means?
No, I have no idea at all.
Okay. So the majority of the insurance that you're going to receive in the mail, and sometimes the things that you get over the website or even over the phone, depending on the company, you're going to have a 2-year pay-in period. So a lot of the things you see on TV where they say you're guaranteed
Yeah.
coverage, no medical questions asked. So what they're doing is they're stamping on you to say, oh, you could have some kind of pre-existing condition. So we're going to rate you at a higher rate. And we're going to make you
Okay.
wait 2 years before you're covered. You're healthy. We're going to give
Yeah.
you the preferred rate and we're going to give you day one coverage. So God forbid, even if you were to pick up this crazy virus that's going on in the next month or 2 months, whichever plan you select, we're going to pay that out to your loved ones. And that's within 24 hours of claim approval.
Oh, wow.
Okay. That's the difference with final expense. It does pay out a lot sooner. so that your
Okay.
families have that money that they need. Okay. And regular life insurance can take anywhere between 6 weeks to 6 months to pay out. Did you know that?
Wow, I had no idea. Wow, that's too
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. Well, have you guys ever had to deal with anybody's funeral before?
It's been a while. Yeah, about maybe 10 or 12 years ago. That was it.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
relative.
All right. Sorry
But
to hear
I'm
that.
just curious. I just saw this AARP commercial, and I saw
Hmm.
Colonial Penn.
Yes.
I mean, why not go with them? I mean, it's really cheap, and I mean, it seems like, I mean, they're advertising, they're legit. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
why not go with those guys?
Absolutely. And so there's nothing wrong with any of the other companies. There's a ton of different life insurance companies that are out here that do provide some form of coverage, right? The main thing that you need to always ask is, what are you looking for? What type of coverage are you looking for? So a lot of the things with like the
Okay.
AARPs for one, or the Colonial Penns, they have a lot of the term policies, and that's the temporary plan, right? So again,
Okay.
it's good for some terms, some type, right? But when you're
Yeah.
looking at your final expenses, your burial coverage, you need final expenses. Your family needs the money right now. Okay.
Okay.
So the main difference is between a regular life insurance company and final expense. There's no tax taken out. So they don't have to go through the estate process. All right. So
All right.
that's why it doesn't take long to pay it out. The second thing is we're going to call in and verify your information up front. So that way you're locked in. We don't have to wait until
Okay.
you die to go check your records to find a reason not to pay. Okay. That causes
All right.
stress on your family. The third thing is we have a family support service where you're going to receive two forms in the mail so that you and your wife and any other family member can sit down and pretty much put everything in writing. You're going to send that
Okay.
information back into us. Okay. That's going to have on there your church home if you have any religious affiliations, your
Mhm.
funeral home if you have one in mind, your other loved ones that you want involved. If you have somebody that sings, that can sing at your going away party, things like that, even down to your pets. If you have any pets and you know that they have a special, toy or their food or their vet, and you want to leave a little bit of extra money to that loved one that's going to take care of your pets, we
Yeah.
even take care of that. There's no other
Wow.
company that's going to make sure that your final arrangements are in order. Even down to, we will call. Now, let me just be clear, Leon. I'm not
Okay.
calling anybody, okay? Not at all. But the
Okay.
company, the family support service, they are going to call for your family if they need them to. And I always advise them to. They will
All right.
call and make sure that they're getting the best price possible. Okay.
Okay.
Now, for my family, they were able to save up to 36, it was $3,600. Okay. When my sister died 7.5 years ago. That's
Yeah.
not common. It's going to be different in different areas. The average is about $1,800 that they can save. Guess
Okay.
who gets to keep that money?
Me?
Yes, you. And more
Oh,
importantly, if your budget doesn't afford you to be able to take a larger policy, that's going to help because we're going to make sure that we are not negotiating, but getting the best prices because we're going to shop around
okay.
for your family. Okay.
Okay.
Any
All
questions
right.
on that?
No, you're actually, that's pretty information.
Okay,
I think
cool.
that yeah, you pretty much answered my question.
Okay.
Yeah,
There you
so
go.
what kind of coverage, can we get? I mean, I
All
just,
right.
want to make sure we just get something in place.
Mhm.
Um, you
Absolutely.
know, just a minimal something. I mean, like I said, we have a tight budget, so
Sure.
um,
Sure.
yeah, just something in place, I guess, at this point. But
Okay.
I
So what I want to
appreciate it.
do for you, Leon, is I'm going to go ahead and go over your prices because this is for you. All right.
Wait,
And then what we can do is I can leave the information for your wife. Now, do you guys bank together or separate?
together.
Together? Okay. So you do have a local
Why
bank.
are
What's
you
the name?
asking about my banking information?
Because
Why do
most
you need my
people want
banking
to know.
information?
Sure, sure. Most people want to know the total amount together if you bank together. So I was going to tell you what they would be together and separate.
So are you taking my banking information today?
I might.
What's the reason?
Yeah. If you're going to start your benefit, which I'm sure you most likely will, because you're day one qualified and you have no coverage at all, and you don't want to leave the burden on your family, just going to get it set up today. So I won't be taking anything with me. We'll be doing all that right over the phone. I won't be leaving with anything at all. So you can rest assured. Okay.
Okay.
So did you guys have the same bank account or no?
Yeah, same bank account.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just put these together. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what yours is. And again, it's based on age and health. All right.
All right.
You both qualify up to 35,000 worth of a cash benefit. So what this means, Leon, is every month that you make this one-time payment, we are sitting
Yes.
with a bucket full of cash to be paid out to your family. Okay.
Okay.
Now to add, it does have up to an additional 80,000 worth of accidental. So if you're
All right.
riding down, you know, in a car, as long as you have your seatbelt on, you're not trying to rob anybody or doing anything illegal, that's going to actually pay out another $40,000 to your family. Okay. If
Oh,
you're
that
in a
sounds pretty
common,
good.
yeah, common carrier, plane, train, taxi, Uber, jitney, somebody else is driving that you're paying a fare for. They
Yes.
have port authorities where people get on like a bus, and they have an accident and you die. It's going to be 80,000 on top of whatever plan you pick. Okay.
Okay.
And most important, I like to say, is there's transportation of remains. So regardless of what benefit you take out, if you are more than 200 miles away from home, we're going to add up to another $4,000 worth of coverage to bring you or your loved one back home. So it won't take away from the benefit. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So don't, you know, a
Okay.
lot of people think with
That sounds
final
pretty good.
expense that this is only for the beneficiaries, but actually with this plan is for you too. Because guess what,
Okay.
Leon? If you have an accident and you don't die, but you lose one of your legs or your arm or even your vision, we're going to pay you an additional $20,000. And that's not like term. So it's not
Okay.
like your car insurance. So if you have
Okay.
an accident and you have to use this 20,000 benefit, it's not going to change your rate. Okay. It's
Okay.
just to help you to just kind of get back on track if you could. It's a little hand money. All right.
Okay.
But your price will never change.
That's
So
what I want to hear.
yeah, it's locked in. So keep in mind the amount I'm going to give you. If it is not comfortable, I need you to be honest. All
Okay.
right. Because it doesn't do you or your family any good to pick a plan that you can't stick with.
All
But I
right.
also need you to know, Leon, that you can start lower if you need to. And as it becomes comfortable,
Okay.
you can increase it. All right. You can always increase your
That
benefit.
sounds like a plan to me.
Okay. So let me tell you what you qualify for because it would not be right if I didn't. And you're
Okay.
still young. So this is a pretty good rate. But again, if it's not comfortable, let me know. So for you, you're 35,000 with your 80,000, you're up to 80,000 worth of accidental. It's only
Okay.
$104.10. Is that comfortable for you or not so much?
Yeah. That's good. That's comfortable. I can
Surprise,
afford
huh?
that. Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't I was thinking it was actually going to be more so like 150, $160.
No, no. And actually, we can get your wife covered in there for both of you guys for just $194.
Okay.
Yeah. If you wanted her
I'm
to have the
sold.
35 as well.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Okay. So this is going to be, you're welcome. You're welcome. And I love to come out and sit with individuals and let them see, because honestly, the reason why 3 out of 5 people don't have life insurance is because they think it's going to be too expensive or they think they're not going to qualify. So I'm glad that we're going to be able to get this taken care of for you. So I'm only going
Okay.
to need 3 more minutes because I did get everything here. So
All right.
now at this point, I'm just going to get your beneficiary, which it's probably going to be your wife.
Yes.
Okay. And do we have any children?
4, 5.
5? Okay.
One's out of the house, 4's in the house.
Okay, awesome. And so the ones that are in the house, are they under the age of 17?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, did you realize that for the children, you have 3 of the children at home for just $12 more, Leon, we can get all 3 of your children covered for $10,000 for $12. So that takes
$12 more
you
dollars. So
for 12 more
what's my
dollars for,
total at that point then?
yeah. So looking at your $12, oh, this is awesome. That's only a 206. Day one
Let's do
coverage
it.
for everybody.
Let's do it.
Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the kids' information, their name and their date of birth, and I'm going to go ahead and call it in. And they're just going to ask you the
Okay.
same questions I did, but it's going to be real quick because I have everything done. And
Okay.
I'll be out your hair. All
Okay.
right. So go ahead
Awesome.
and grab your bank information for us. So when I call, you can give them that information. Okay.
Sold.
All right,
Good
there.
job.
Yeah.
That was good.
Wait, you kind of threw me off. You said we were doing objections.
I try to throw some out there, but when you know what I noticed when you smile. I mean, a smile always helps. So you closed me. I mean, you did. You closed me. So I
Yeah.
threw some out there. No, good stuff though. I mean,
Thank
you
you.
kept your posture, and I see your skill set. Always through that smile. That's
Yeah, you got to smile. I tell people all the time, it's energy. It's always
Yeah.
the energy that you're giving off. Like you were very hard and not really trying to have fun with me. And that's okay because I'm going to give you my energy regardless of what yours is. Right. And so even still was kind of like, yeah, you're going to give me that checkbook, if in fact you want day one coverage, but
Right.
You can give the information over the phone. So just trying to make sure that they're comfortable and not like I'm just trying to grab their checkbook and run,
Right.
right? So it's like, yeah, you still have some choices, but you really don't. Because if you
Right.
want to take advantage, that's why I said in the beginning, you know, this is going to require yes or no today. So if you need your wife to be here, we're going to set an appointment.
Right. And typically, I guess, so my question for you is, and we're going to open up with some questions here. Um, and typically, would you do that one legger, or would you, that would have been a reschedule if I would have just been really hard on, my wife's not being here or I'm not the decision maker?
Oh, if you're not the decision maker, I'm not going to sit for 30 minutes and talk to you. I'm going to
Right.
set the appointment, right? Because it doesn't make any sense. Out of all the years and all the times that I've done it, and
Yeah.
it turns to, they're like, oh, well, can you leave? Like I have my money sheet that I was doing my stuff on. And they're like, oh, well, can you just leave that so I can tell my husband and we can go over it? No, because the only thing you're going over is
Right.
the price. You're not going over the benefit and everything that we're going to do, like the
Right.
sizzle. You don't have my sizzle. So
Right.
that's not going to work, you know? And so
Gotcha.
usually they're going to look at, like you looked at an AARP or Colonial Penn and look at the price, not knowing what all goes into it, not knowing that it's a term or if it is a whole life and how it
Right.
works. If it's a 2-year or a 3-year paying period, like you get that from me. That's my
Right.
job. And so that's why I need both you guys together in order to go over it.
Gotcha. No, good stuff. No, that was good. I like how you held your posture and you smiled. It didn't seem like you were like, I knocked you off kilter in any way. You were just, you kept a good posture and you smiled. And I don't think that there's anything better you can do in the home than have a good attitude regardless.
Yeah.
You never looked like you got, emotionally involved as far as on the negative side. So that's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took
So,
some time. Trust and
right.
believe.
Right.
It took some, because I'd be in the house like, what is wrong with you people? But, for real,
Right.
it took a lot of sitting in front of my mirror and practicing over and over and over by myself. I mean, if I could be honest, when in the beginning, I had one of the little poster boards, the trifold little poster boards that the kids
Mhm.
use for school. And I
Yeah.
put little mirrors on it. And then I would have like the bullet points of my benefit. And I would drill myself over and over, but looking at my facial expression, because trust me, I have a ton of them. And I
Yeah.
had to learn how to just not express the things that were running through my mind, because I'm like, did you really
Right.
just say that to me?
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't do
Right.
that. You know what I mean? You have to be unaffected.
Hmm. That's right.
Understand that it's not about me.
Right.
It's not about me.
You're
I'm
right.
here to help, to bless the people. I said, I come here to love on you, and you either can receive it or not. And that's your loss
Right.
if you don't.
Right. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's right. So I see we do have some viewers here. Let's open it up for some questions here. So I believe most of you know Christine, but if you do not, I want to highly recommend that you follow her. And we're just going to pretty much go over some questions here. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments, and I'll ask her. And of course, we'll get the questions answered. So, but I have
I'm
I
over
have
some
a few.
questions, y'all.
I
All
have
right.
a few. So, obviously the industry is growing, and my question is to you, like, what is like one of the biggest things, like door knocking, right? I know when I did some door knocking, it's like, you're going to a house where, they filled out a form, obviously, but they don't know you're on their way. They don't know you're coming, right? What are some tips, or suggestions that you would give people that are, obviously they got, their leads in their hand, and, they've got their route for their day, and they're, now they're going to go door knock. What is, like, the biggest tips and suggestions that you would give a new agent that's door knocking leads?
Stay out of your head. Stay out of your head. When you start new agents, some of the older agents, they get
Hmm.
in their head a lot. And what I mean by that is looking at the lead, looking at the age of the lead, looking at the time, thinking they might be at work, or they might be eating lunch right now, or they might be at work right now, or whatever, all the things that go into our minds that keep us from knocking on the door, right? I remember as a new agent, I would go to the doors and I would or ride up to the house, and I would see multiple cars in the driveway. And I would say, oh, they must have company. This is a bad time. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Today I'm like, oh, let me get 4 more apps just in case I can help everybody in the house.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, being honest, I was like, oh, I got to come back. They got a house full of people, you know, um, not working at dinner time. You know what I mean? It's just do not allow your thoughts to take control.
Okay.
Door knock, just knock the doors. Your job is to go out and to serve the people. The leads are nothing more than to lead you to an opportunity to help somebody. And so, I also was one that always just, if I had a set of leads, I was just knocking the leads. There's
Hmm.
people outside, there's the boyfriend that's at the house and the lead is not home, and you don't talk to that person because you're there strictly for the lead. Why not talk to that person? You know what I mean?
Wow.
Things that I learned later on, that these really, the lead wasn't the person that even needed it or wanted
So,
it. It was it was the boyfriend or the girlfriend or the babe, it was somebody else. So
mhm.
don't be in your head.
Wow.
Talk to everyone
Okay.
that you encounter while you are looking for that lead. And also knock on the doors to the right and to the left. If they're not
Okay.
home, find out
Yeah.
when they're going to be home, because the neighbors are nosy. They like to tell everybody's business. And then after you get all
Yeah.
the information, ask them, oh, well, by the way, has anyone been able to tell you about this final expense benefit that's available in your area? I'm glad you're
Yeah.
here, because it might be the neighbor that needs you.
So you go to the neighbor's house
Mhm.
if the lead isn't home.
Mhm.
Now I know when I first started, I wouldn't like even think of that. I would just be like, all right, these are my leads. Here's the addresses. They're either going to be home or they're not. If they home, great. I'm gonna write a policy. If they're not, I'm gone. But what you're saying is you go to the neighbor's house, yeah,
Yeah,
and
because
you
I
end
was
up writing a
fine.
lot of policies.
When you're writing on, I write on the leads, as I showed you one of the leads. It has like handwriting all up, handwriting. Can you see it?
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All over it. I'm like, wait, it got an address on it. Let me move that real quick.
Hmm.
But I write the day, the date, and the time that I'm there. And so the next
Hmm.
time I come, I want to come at a different time of the day, and then a different time of the day, and then on the weekend. And then if I still can't get you, listen, you live there,
Right.
right? When are you home? So the neighbors know, you know what? Miss Diane, I have been over here 5 times trying to catch Leon, and he checked off that he needs this cash benefit that pays out in 24 hours immediately, and I just can't catch him. And he's not answering his phone. Do you happen to know when he's home? And I
Yep.
don't know how many times when I've done it, they say, oh, well, he's a nurse or she's a nurse and they work 3 shifts. They're not home until Sunday night. Like the best time to catch them is Sunday. They got a
Wow.
blue car and they park it on that side of the street. So I
The
would know
neighbors know,
whenever, yeah, the neighbors know and they tell everything.
and that's basically the open door for you
Mhm.
because you're there. You got them. You're at their house. You're talking to them.
Right. And I'm
Wow.
talking to them about somebody else. And so they're open. And then it's easier to
Wow.
slide in. Oh, well, by the way, and has anybody had a chance to go over this with you? There's no obligation. I mean, I
Mhm.
was already here trying to talk to Leon. He wasn't home. So why not
Well,
help
that's
you?
another live. That's a whole nother objection right there. That's a whole nother setting because I mean, I never thought about that. I just, you know, I never thought about it, and that's amazing that But what I'm hearing is that is a completely different mindset.
Yeah.
It's because I'd get a lead and I would just go to the house and from just doing that to talking to the neighbors is a whole different mindset. I mean, it takes a whole other mindset to even think about that.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I see it as really maximizing your opportunity, right? Like
Yes.
that's
Because your one lead becomes three.
yeah,
That one becomes three.
wow, awesome. That's a nugget right there. I mean, when you think about it, you're driving, anywhere between how many miles would you say, a day or, in between homes?
Well, thank goodness I haven't been in the field. Well, I just started going back in the field, but I wasn't in the field for a year. But when I was running,
Hmm.
I like to go 4.5 hours away from home
Okay.
in an area that is the country and there's no phone signal at all. And I do it purposely so that I am not distracted by my own devices, right? Um,
You put yourself
and
out there.
mhm,
That's
I'm
putting
like,
yourself out there, right?
I saw zonkies. Have you ever heard of a zonkey? It's a
No.
zebra and a donkey mix.
Oh wow. Never.
For real.
Okay.
For real.
All right.
So I'm like in the country, but that's when I would do the most work. I would get between 6. The most I've had in a day was 7 apps because I'd be in the country and I'd be at the first store at 8:30 in the morning, the last store at 9 o'clock with a flashlight, go to the hotel and crash. And I'd do it again, the next 2 days. And I'd maximize, the month doing that. I do that twice a month. In between homes going in the country, you're driving 10 to 20 minutes between each store.
Okay.
So
okay, that's pretty good. Yeah.
That's the difference. So out there, you're not able to go to neighbors because there's no neighbor. It's like cows and then horses and you know what I mean? It's
land. Yeah.
It's like farms and stuff. But those people were almost always home because there's no mall out there. They're like killing everything they eat pretty much. And when they do go out to the restaurant or to the grocery store, they buy in bulk. And all of them have like 2 refrigerators and deep freezers and they hunt. So I've learned a lot from those individuals. I had a raccoon crawling up my leg. I still have a picture of that because that was an experience. But, so it depends. And I've also gone in the city, clearly, I live in the city and I've worked here and I can hit 15 doors in a matter of 3-4 hours if they're not home. That's not good. I want them to be home. I want to get them.
The time frame, is good.
Yeah, they're like 3 to 5 minutes. You know what I mean? 3 to 5 minutes.
Right.
In between each house. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, no, good stuff. I got some nuggets for sure. I'm still learning. I thought I was good, right? But we always can get better. I think the mindset to get better is the best mindset to have. No one is, you want to perfect it, but I'm always trying to get better. We get compliments, but I'm always like, no, I can do better, because when you get into a home and, because it happens, you miss a sale or whatever, or just a one-legger, you got to come back. Those are the times I think that I learned when it makes me think like, okay, like what can I do to get better? You know, because we hate that, right? You hate, like, there's nothing worse than going to a home and not selling a policy. You don't help a family, obviously there's no money made, but it's all about helping families. And so if you don't help them, it's like after a while you really feel like, man, you know what, I didn't help anybody, and we kind of take that upon us. So anybody have any questions? If you got any questions, I see your husband's on. You got a bunch of people on. Stacy, you guys, everybody, welcome. If you guys have any questions, feel free to just post them in the comments, and Christine will answer your questions. So until we do, I got another question. So let's talk about the value briefly. This is my last question. Just the value. How important is it? Because I know I got agents that are like people that are joining, and I'm really talking to them now more so about, providing the value, because I noticed that, when you don't provide the value, it's people they just don't buy, right? Can you just share with us a little bit on, the value, which makes it easier to sell, right? Because the whole goal is we don't want like that conflict in the home, right? But you're gonna get it. But how can agents decrease sales conflict, if you will, in the home?
You always have to be closing from the beginning to the end with your heart.
All right.
Your heart. People do not care. I'm sure you've heard this a million times. They don't care about what you know. They care about, how you feel that you care. They care if you care. So when you are talking to them and you're really listening to them, when I tell you I get 1000% in tuned with the person that's on the phone or the person that I'm in front of, it doesn't matter what is going on around me. I am listening to everything that they're saying. And I'm listening to, they tell you how to sell them. They tell you what they need. It's a matter of listening to them and not being so quick to be like, okay, I need to make sure I get this answer. I need to get this. I need to, like, being on the script so much, right?
Yes.
Although all of my presentations are almost the same. They go in the same order, right? I follow my money sheet that I created to keep me on track because I love to talk. And I have been in homes for 3 hours when I was new, wondering, why do I know all the grandkids' names and they want me to come back for cookies and no check, right? Because I made too much of a friend. I became, as Troy used to tell me, I was the professional visitor. And I'm like, I don't want to be the professional visitor. Like, I don't want to be everybody's friend all the time, But that, you have to make sure that you're caring. And you need to have a story. Stories
Okay.
sell. And it needs to be a true story, one that you feel, right?
Okay.
I have a true story. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
do have that my sister passed on. I
Yeah.
do have that I completely went blank because I talked to her the night before she died and she prayed me off of a snow hill, right? And then, I'm supposed to come see her before I go to Florida for the manager's retreat and she's gone. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's nothing like that. So
Wow.
that's I have a story. And it's
So
like
you share your story.
I share my story. Yeah. And in the beginning, when it first happened, you know, I was a low producer. I was always a
Mhm.
3 to 5, maybe 7,000 in, production per month for a couple years. Right. And every now and then they do a contest. I would go to work because I like to take people's money. So they would be like, how do you do that? You do 3,000, 5,000 for the whole year. And then you pop up with a 15,000 just for this like $300 contest, $500 contest. I'm like, because it's a contest, right? The dumbest thing I know, but
It
that's
was
me.
motivation for you though.
Listen, I'm like, give me that little daggone carrot, I'm gonna run. Um,
Yeah.
and when she passed on, now granted, I did make the decision that I was going to be full time
Hmm.
the month before. I was already set up. I'm like, I need to be a manager. I'm management material. I've always been a manager. I'm a trainer. Like that's where I fit in. And
Yeah.
so I was already set up to go for training for that, to be able to transition into that. And then, she dies. And it was just
Hmm.
like, how does that happen?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was always that one who makes the phone calls, deal with the business, take care of everything. And I was like a zombie.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't, you know, my husband's like, babe, where are you? You want me to come? I'm like, no, like, no. I just need to get this done. You know what I mean? And I thank God for the company because they literally made the phone calls. They called us back. The police officer was trying to rush, us. Oh, he got a mouthful. Are you
Yeah.
serious right now? Because she died at my
Yeah.
mom's house, on the couch.
Hmm.
So, um, it was just that, remembering that,
Right.
and then being able to transfer that over
Hmm.
when I'm sitting with a client that's telling me, oh, well, I still need to think about this. I'm like, what do you need to think? You thought
Right.
about this when you filled out this card, right?
Right.
And I think that that's where a lot of us agents, we drop the ball because we won't pull the client's card. We won't put,
Awesome.
we're just like, oh, well, I'll come back. I don't have time to come back. I work 5 states. I have a
Right.
stack of leads right here that I'm sitting here
Hmm.
trying to figure out how I can get to all of them. No,
Right.
no. And these people are dying every day, right? And so we
Yeah.
have to make sure that we are passionate enough that we share this information to help them understand that they need it,
Hmm.
but not so much that we push them away, but
Right.
also, it's kind of like a game. We're like, we're almost like double dutch for real. Like we're in and out, like, okay, can I jump in or not? Should I do it or not? And just
Right.
figuring out that dance, right? And then understanding when it's time to go. Because I've had times,
I heard
I've had, yeah,
that. That's
I
like
listen,
good
I
one
have
right
had
there.
times where, I remember one like yesterday, it's been years, and it was like he was just playing games with me. And I said, you
Yeah.
know what? I've been out here for 4 days and I don't even have time for this at all.
Right.
You clearly are not serious about taking care of your family. Please,
Hmm.
and I pull up the lead letter and I'm like, please don't fill this out again because I
Right.
travel a long way to take
Hmm.
care of my clients, right? And you're playing and I'm just not here to play. And he
Yeah.
was, he was just weird. He's like, stand
I
up
I want
behind me.
to.
Let me see who's taller.
I got
Just
a
come here.
question.
Yeah.
I got a question because you just said talking about pulling the client's card, and I'm glad you said that because one that was the problem, the issue that I had early on was you talk about getting real personal,
Right.
and for all the agents that are out there that are that are new, of course, but that are like how do you get real like personal? Because I know like there's a fine line, right? But you don't want to cross it, but you want to get your point across. Can
Right.
you share that? Because that is very important. Because I know a lot of times in the home, like you just said it, you have to get personal. You have to pull their card because if not, they're just going to be in that shell and they're going to
Fascinating.
play. They're going to play the the bad client or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So can you really, because this is very important, because there are going to be people that are out there that are just, they're just stone faced. They're going to be arms crossed, it's
Yeah.
just, it is what it is. But there is
Yeah.
a way, more importantly, to get through to them. Can you really expound on that? Because I think that that's like that brick wall for a lot of people, where they feel like, you know what, that is a wall that can't be climbed or overcome. Can you share like how you do that?
Well, again, that's, I'm going to smile and smile and smile until you smile back. And
Okay.
honestly, smiling works. I tell the men agents the same as the females. Smile. I
Okay.
even hear, and I hear my husband on the phone, and he like turns into a whole different person. As far as like being like light, you need to be light, right? That takes that down. But I ask
Mhm.
him, I was telling my daughter when we were out door knocking, and I'm like, it's not always going to be the exact same thing that you say at the door, because
Mhm.
what is it? 65% of language is the body language. Like you have
Mhm.
to pay attention to what's going on with these people in their
Right.
body language. So I'm a lover of people. So my
Awesome.
way of breaking that down is if I'm looking at you, like I saw you had your arms crossed or whatever, and eventually your arms came down.
Mhm.
I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to stay light. And I'm, oh, well, we're going to see what we can do to help you out, letting you know that I'm here for you.
Right.
Right. I didn't tell you a whole lot of information about me.
Mhm.
I'm asking you the questions to pull you out, to make you engage with me. I want to hear about you. People want to talk about themselves, right?
Right.
They want to talk about themselves. So that's one of the ways to kind of break that down. Well, what
Okay.
do you do for a living? Things like that. I
Okay.
mean, I've definitely had individuals that were just, you know, listen, and I'm like, okay, listen, is this a bad day for you? Because
Right.
and I tell them, I always keep all of the leads. So even when I've
Mhm.
worked the lead, I'll put it behind, right? But I keep them on my clipboard so that they can
Right.
see that I'm busy,
Right.
right?
That
Oh,
that's important.
it's very important. And they
Mhm.
come to the door and they're mad. When I filled that out, I didn't. No, I sure don't. But I'm so glad
Right.
you're here. And I'm so glad I'm here too. It's been crazy, hasn't it? I'm going right to the next thing.
Right.
It's been crazy. How you been holding up? Before you
Right.
know it, they're telling me about all this other stuff. And then they're like, well, what are you here for? Oh, yeah. That final expense insurance information you requested. Now, was that just for you or for you and another loved one? Right.
Yeah.
So
Good stuff.
breaking them down is
Yeah.
really not taking it personal, because we as agents,
Mhm.
as salespeople that are going door to door, because I'm sure there's people that are going to watch this later that are just in sales, period, that do door to door. You have to understand, we don't know what's going on behind that door before we got there.
Right.
We don't know if they just had surgery, if they're on medications that got them going crazy, hot flashes, menopause. We don't know. Somebody just killed
Had a bad
themselves.
day at
We don't
work.
know
Right.
anything. And
Right.
so we have to always have, I always say, the armor of God on you, because I'm like, I pray and I go. You got to have that
Right.
on you so that when that comes, it's not knocking you off your block,
Right.
and you can
Right.
just really be able to deal with them. Like, oh my God, is this a bad time for you? Like the one I hit the door with my daughter, and the guy comes and he's like, oh my God, his wife in there screaming, hollering, all this kind of stuff. He's like, oh, the cat just died. For real? Like all of that for the cat? I was like, God, how long did you have the cat?
Mhm.
He's like, the cat wasn't even ours, so he went through the whole story. She came, opened up the door, like, you better not sign nothing. He slammed the door. He was like, she's so upset. I said, well, listen. And guess what I did? I packed up the binder.
Mhm.
Because he's like, oh, well, you could. No, I can't go over it. No, I can't. Because she
Gotcha.
just came and said, don't you sign nothing. And you
Mhm.
said, okay.
Right. So you got the cue. So that's just knowing how to assess the situation
You
to
have to.
avoid you wasting your time
Yeah. And I set an appointment with him. And
to
I'm
come
like,
back
no, to call him on
or
the phone.
to call. Okay.
Because, we can do both.
But
So
you
I'm
didn't
not,
waste your time. But you
no.
knew so you just assessed the situation and you knew what to do to avoid, like you said, waste your time there. You figure, hey, the next best thing to do is to just call.
Right. Right. And if I get the guy that tells me, like you started with you're too busy, this and that, but then you open the door and let me in. Right. But if you're really like, oh my God, I can't do this right now. I'm like, okay. Well, listen, I'm gonna be here for the rest of the day, and I can. What exactly did you have to do?
Mhm.
What are you
Right.
getting ready to do? Because this only takes about 10 minutes. And
Right.
it's already taken us, what, how long did you say you filled this out? 5 months ago? This pandemic has been crazy. Do you know anybody that needs a job?
Right.
Because we're hiring. Back to this, right? And then,
Always positive.
yeah,
Always
just keeping it
positive
back.
moving forward.
You checked off you needed
Yeah.
this immediately, honey. And I'm just getting here and I don't know when I'm gonna be back. So you think you'll be back around 6? Okay, what I'll try to do is swing back
Hmm.
around. But you see, I have a lot of people I need to see, and you know, I can help the people that want me to help them today. So I'm gonna try to swing back around. But what is a good phone number just in case I can't? Because
Hmm.
this number that's on here, we've not been able to get in touch with anybody. So what's your number? Is that a cell phone? And do you
Gotcha.
receive text messages? Yes?
Okay.
Okay. I'll send you a text. I'm out.
Good questions. That's good. I hope you guys are getting these nuggets because that's important. I mean, because you're going to hit those situations, and you need to be able to address them accordingly without obviously losing the client, right? Because you don't want to lose a client, but you got to stay in that fight, right? In
Yeah.
order to keep the client. So
Yeah.
I hope you guys got a ton of value. That's good stuff. It's been a blessing. It's amazing to have you on here as actually our first guest here. So um,
Yay.
good stuff. If you guys are not following Christine, actually she's on YouTube and she's on Facebook, of course. I highly recommend you go to her YouTube channel because she's got a lot of nuggets on there. Just a
Yeah.
ton of value and information, and just to help you, just do
Grow.
better, and what you can expect, as a new agent in the field. So if you're not following her, be sure to go to her YouTube channel and click that subscribe button, and I guarantee you're gonna get some nuggets on her video. So
Amen.
um, good stuff. So thank you.
Man,
We're
thank
gonna
you
go
for
ahead and end
having
it.
me. Thank you for having me. I saw the insurance objections. I'm like, oh, that is this is the bomb to have this group to be able to have these interviews and things, because that is the reason why most individuals fail in the insurance industry, because they can't get past the objections. And if you
Right,
really, if you learn how to deal with the objections throughout your presentation conversation,
right.
then you'll have more success at the end. But this was such a blessing. I'm so grateful for you
Awesome.
reaching out and having me join you guys. This was fun.
Great
You,
having
you
you.
got me because I was ready for the objections.
So we'll go ahead and end. If you guys got any questions, if not, if you do, go ahead and ask for questions. And if not, of course, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end this live here. Of course, I
Right.
know she's busy, and she's got a lot going on. So if you guys got any questions, go ahead. If not, we're gonna go ahead and we'll close out. So it was great, and super excited. I know we'll see you online. Of course, like I said, if you guys are not following her, be sure to follow her, and I was going to subscribe to her channel. So with that being said, of course, we're going to go ahead. That is, we'll
Oh, wait a
conclude
minute,
this
Leon.
video. Go ahead,
I'm
Christine. Go
sorry,
ahead.
because you're going to share the video with me so that I can share it with my social platform.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell them your information as well, so that they can be connected to the group, so that
Oh,
they can stay connected with these objection videos, because this is your platform.
so I mean, pretty much, yeah. You guys just insurance objections, Facebook group. It's a public group, so it should be, you should be able to find it if you just look it up in the search, and it's free to join. There's nothing here, nothing for sale, really, just a way for us to just sharpen our skills
Yeah.
as insurance agents. So, um, we'll post a link here, and you can actually just request access, and just welcome. So, and invite as many people as you want. If you want to sharpen your skill sets, this is just one of the many places I'm sure online where you can do so. So,
Amen.
yeah,
Thank you again. Thank you. Thank you. It's a
awesome.
blessing.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and end it. Let me end it. Hold on one second, Christine.